FanDuel releases its early Heisman odds, and there's Jalen Milroe, one of the favorites to win the Heisman Trophy. We're going to get into that. Alabama's coaching staff, some of these guys are brand new, already hitting the ground running, looking for the next big-time star, including a 4-star recruit that got offered 3 days after Christian Robinson arrived from Baylor. We're going to get into that and more. Thanks for hanging out with us here on the Bama Tailgate YouTube channel. Let's get this thing started. If you're not a member of what we're doing, make sure that you do it right now. Here's your invitation. Like, subscribe, give us a thumbs up, comment in the comments section. Roll Tide, everybody. Thanks, everybody. There he is. Big Elmo back in the house to help us out. I'm Mick Gillispie. Thanks for joining us here on the Bama Tailgate YouTube channel at Broadcaster Mick, at Brett Elmore Show. And Brett, feel like it's been kind of a quiet week around the capstone when it comes to football news, but some pretty fun things to talk about today. How you doing?
Doing well, Mick. Doing well. The COVID swing is just about over, so I'm doing well. How are you? How's South Alabama treating you?
Yeah, it's great. Well, let's talk about the early Heisman odds, because I think this is really interesting. When you look at the list, you got Quinn Ewers, who is the Texas quarterback, and Carson Beck, the Georgia quarterback, tied for first, or the best odds, or it's plus 750. Dylan Gabriel, who was with Oklahoma, and then I think he just transferred to Oregon. Will Howard, and then there's Jalen Milroe ahead of Nico, the quarterback of Tennessee. So, plus 1,200, that gives him pretty good odds to be the Heisman Trophy winner. Does that surprise you? And I know these odds are awful early.
Yeah, awfully early, and it gives us something to talk about, all football fans. But, of course, you expected to see Milroe in the thick of things. Fifth, probably about right to start out the season, I would say. That's plus 1,200. I don't know. That may be something we go to go to the casino with. Yeah, he's ahead of the Tennessee quarterback. You've got the LSU quarterbacks in there, Nussmeier. It's like a who's who of the SEC. The Ole Miss quarterbacks in there, Dart, and then you round that out with a couple others. The quarterback from A&M, and he's 10th. And but it's like a who's who. It's like a quarterback league. For the SEC, more than half are on this list.
Last year, he had in 13 games, 65.8% completion rate. You figure with the new coaching staff and how dedicated they are to the pass game, that's going to improve, right? But just under 3,000 yards. 2,834, 23 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. Very good numbers. I mean, if he improves on those numbers, I could definitely see him being someone to contend for the Heisman. He ended up, sixth already, and that was with the beginning of the season not going well, having to learn the position. So I guess the question is, what's the transition going to be like for him? Going from Tommy Rees, Nick Saban, to Nick Sheridan, and obviously under Coach DeBoer.
Yeah, that's the $1 million question. And with DeBoer's high-octane offense that he's supposed to be bringing to the capstone, you would think that he would add to those numbers. And plus, if we could ever get him to where he is comfortable running with a football at times, he carried the ball 161 times for 531 yards and 12 touchdowns. You would think probably both of those numbers would improve. And if he does progress and learn this offense and things go well, he's going to be right in the thick of things. But of this list, if you had to put money on someone, who would you put it on this early?
I think it would, honestly, Carson Beck would be a hard guy not to put it on. Georgia's going to have another good team. They're going to be motivated after losing. They do play a tough schedule, but I just feel like without the boogeyman, Nick Saban there, that Kirby's probably going to have a pretty good season, right?
You would think so. I would today. I would just lay my money on the Ohio State quarterback Will Howard, because he's plus 1,000. I'd go ahead and just stick $100 on him, see what happens.
You know what? I mean, it's so hard to say too. I mean, so much of it is the system that you're in, and that to me, I think this becomes really interesting because, obvious. When you're going from kind of that run pass system, the RPOs and everything, to this offensive system where it's proven to score a lot of points, that could help your stats, you would think, right?
Yeah. And I was just looking, I was counting 7 out of the 10 are from the SEC. 7. That just shows you how stacked the SEC is going to be this year with the addition of Texas and Oklahoma. And just think if the guy wouldn't have transferred from Oklahoma, Dylan Gabriel, to Oregon, that'd be 8 out of the 10 as a early Heisman favorite. But just shows kind of how stacked the league is and how interesting it's going to be come fall. But like I say, this is way too early. But something for us to talk about and the fans to talk about, and I love that.
Yeah, no doubt. Let's switch gears a little bit. Let's talk about Christian Robinson. Christian Robinson, the new linebackers coach, was at Baylor, comes to Alabama, 3 days on the job, and he's offered Tyler Lockhart. He offered Lockhart when he was at Baylor, and now he's offered him again being at Alabama. So you're talking about a linebacker, a 4-star, Winona, Mississippi. You're talking about a guy that a lot of people predict could end up in the state of Mississippi, Mississippi State, maybe Ole Miss. The offers are going to start coming in. But how about Robinson already 3 days in, going out and extending offers and trying to get recruits?
Name of the game, baby. Name of the game. He's doing his job, and he goes deep into Mississippi to Winona. Of course, this is class of 2005. This guy, Tyler Lockhart, 6'3", 200 pounds. And you mentioned he's he may stay in state. He's pretty warmed up with Mississippi State. They're kind of making some headway. Well, I think we talked about them yesterday, as a matter of fact. But LSU has been taking a look at him. Southern Miss, Auburn, Georgia Tech. But as a matter of fact, Auburn has already offered him last week.
How about that?
Yeah. So offered him on February 19th, and LSU offered him last week as well. So he has a lot of offers on the table. Some smaller schools, Southern Miss, and I think Toledo and South Florida. But the guy, 100 tackles last year on the gridiron, 28 tackles for loss, 11 sacks. Heck of an athlete. But back to your point, coaching staff's really getting out there and beating the bushes and recruiting our area.
Yeah. Do you know where Winona is?
That is a great question, because I was wondering that myself. I was going to look at it.
Yeah, it's not too far from Kilmichael and a little bit south of Duck Hill, places that you like to visit.
Duck
Carrollton,
Hill, yeah.
Mississippi, and actually, it's really not far from Starkville. But in that area, it's been very close to Starkville, and I think that's why most people probably would have thought that he would, and maybe he does end up at Mississippi State. We'll see if he wants to stay in school, but he's in their proverbial backyard.
I mean, the town has 4,500 people in it. They have a Pizza Inn, and that's about it, and an El Cabrito as well. So if he comes to Tuscaloosa or even Starkville, he will be living in the biggest city he's ever seen.
Yeah, no doubt. All right. That's pretty funny. And I know Pizza Inn. That's I've been to one in Tennessee before.
Oh, okay. All
very,
right.
very popular restaurant if you like
Okay.
pizza and Coke. All right, final topic on tonight's show. Federal judge bars NCAA from enforcing NIL compensation rules. Now, this isn't set match, right? This is just for right now. But these rulings, the NCAA never wins. And how in the world are they going to police the NIL situation? Or do you just throw your hands up and it's just all every man for himself now?
It's coming to a head, Mick. It's coming to a head. The judge wrote that the NCAA's prohibition likely violates federal antitrust law and harms the student athlete. So basically, they're saying that the NCAA, you can't enforce any type of rule over NIL. So what does that do? And what does it do to the NCAA? I mean, they can't win anything,
right?
But this may be the biggest loss in the history of the NCAA. I mean, because we've often asked, what good are they for now anyway? I mean, what good are they?
Mm-hmm.
And is this the beginning of the end of the NCAA?
I don't know. It might be. I really don't know how you police this. I just don't know what the future is of amateur athletics if they're not amateur.
But I loved the Tennessee Attorney General, his statement. His name is Jonathan Scrimetti. He says, and I quote, Mick, you're going to love this. The NCAA is not above the law, and the law is on our side.
What is that?
What a Tennessee thing to say.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. But I'm sure there'll be some appeals and everything. The AG there in Tennessee also said we'll litigate this case to the fullest extent necessary to ensure the NCAA's monopoly cannot continue to harm student athletes.
Wow. This is not I get it. Tennessee didn't want to get banged again by the NCAA. They were obviously in trouble over something with Nico, who was on that list, by the way.
Yeah.
As a Heisman contender. And so they sued, but somebody else would have.
Yeah.
And this is, you're right. I mean, maybe the NCAA eventually doesn't exist anymore. Maybe they exist for colleges that don't have scholarships. I mean, what if you don't have scholarships and it's like high school sports, although there's NIL in high school sports now. So I've got no idea the direction that this thing's all going to turn out, but it is not good.
It undercuts the fundamental rule of the NCAA that payers are amateurs and can't be paid.
Yeah.
I mean, what a few years ago we were talking about a guy getting in trouble for eating a cheeseburger that somebody bought. And now, you like that Ferrari? You a 5-star? Yeah, come on in. Here's the keys. Right. I mean, it's a totally different world now, and it's one that Nick Saban's, since he's not the head coach at the University of Alabama anymore, have you noticed he's been a little more vocal
Yeah. Well, I think that's kind of the future for him.
Yeah, I think he's the advocate. I think he may be the man
Yeah.
to help fix a lot of this. And Saban's sharp, and I think college football fans either love him or hate him.
Mm-hmm.
They would love to see Nick Saban straighten everything out because
Yes,
they know he would.
Yep. Yep. All right, Brett. Well, thanks for hanging out. Let me remind you guys that newlifeart.com brought you the show today, and you can use the promo code Bama Tailgate to pimp your man cave out. Do it the right way. Bama Tailgate. You get 15% off at checkout by using the promo code Bama Tailgate. For Big Elmo, you look like you got something else to add.
It's Saturday. It's World Bartender Day.
Oh, nice.
Reason to celebrate. Go celebrate, everybody.
That's right. Everybody enjoy your bartenders today. And enjoy a hearty Roll Tide.